Okay. I don't know what you call this video. Sort of a celebration video. Uh, we have two excuses for, we throw a party, we have to have an excuse. Can't just throw a party. It's like a fiesta, it has to be for a reason. I got a birthday coming up in a couple of days, so we're going to call it a birthday party. Okay, we have here Gloria, one of her 30-some grandchildren. Older sister, might be younger sister, maybe older sister also. And we're starting to look at food. They didn't put many pictures of the people at the party. They put up pictures of the food. I guess what's important to you is what you put in the picture. I think this is the workers' house. I think this is Boy's house. Boy, it's sort of like a duplex. We added another house on the other side of it with a common wall, and that was for the bunkhouse. We wanted to have a decent bunkhouse with an indoor CR, pretty big CR. And these pastries were baked by the foreman, as was the cake. Catalina arranged she arranged some of it. I'm kind of thinking Boy's wife, Eleanor, must have made this spaghetti. And over here, this is fried turkey. 3 full-grown turkeys for this party. This is a picture they sent that shows what the hard discs they found were for cutting off rebar. This is rebar that are sticking out of concrete that you've already poured. We need to cut them back sometimes for one reason or another. They sent a picture of the flap disc they found. This is to sand down the ring for the whole house fan so we can bolt it to the ceiling. Need to make sure that there's no real rust on it before we paint it. And that's what the flap disc is. This is by a different party participant. It's showing the bakery aisle, it looks like. Different kinds of cakes and cookies. And there'll be another bunch of pastries also. This is a spaghetti. I'll guarantee it's sweet, but other than that, I don't know. That's what they have for cheese here. They don't have mozzarella. Robinson's Place supermarket has like a deli counter, and you can buy a full block of what looks to be real mozzarella. It looks like it's imported mozzarella. It's 1,700 pesos for a good-sized chunk of it. If I start making pizza in our bakery, for us, we're not going to have a pizza place. Then I'll probably buy a brick of that. Okay, this is showing, I think they've taken the things out of the cooking trays. I think this is the ones that was in the muffin trays. Okay, that picture is very similar to the one we saw. We have an addition here. This is Bia. I suppose she's now a full-time employee. She's been part-time since she was 15. She helped pour the house. She's on the bucket brigade. And we had another girl that did the pouring into the form. She was the last one on the line. So they handed the bucket to her and she threw them in there. But there was only the 2 girls working at the time. Now, she was 15 years old then, but her brother was on the crew and her father was on the crew. So that gives her an exemption from 18 to 15. So, we can pay her a day's wage at 15 if I have a family member working on the crew. generally when she was working when her brother was working. The father works, and he has other things. Anyway, he was not on the crew for about 2 years running one time, but she was still part-time because her brother Brian was working with us, and he's over 18, so that made him sort of her legal guardian. Who else we got here? That could be Catalina, but she generally dresses up better than that. I don't know. This is JoJo. He was our tricycle driver, so he had a heart attack, and now he's retired. He can't work. But he knows every place to buy everything, and you still ask him where to find it, But Catalina works 2 days a week. She does shopping, goes to the places to pay for the rebar and has them deliver it. Same thing with cement and stuff. She prices it out. And of course, that's B in the middle. I'm not sure who this is. This is one of Gloria's sons. He's a chef, but he helps us when we do big concrete pours and we need, 11, 12, 15 people. He's got a brother that looks almost like him. He's got 3 brothers that look like him. The daughters look mostly like the mother, and I think the guys all look like their daddy. But we have the well, I'm not going to try to remember all the real names. We call one of them's Al, and this is Penhale, and at least, golly, Elijah. That's the one that's I don't know. He's really small, thin. This might be another one of Gloria's sisters. Nane, he's we only let him work 4 days a week. Not that we don't like him or he doesn't do quality work. He's a mason, but he's got a farm that needs to be tended. He grows vegetables. He's got a family, and we need him to be established in a business when this build winds down some. So to pretty much force him to work on his own farm, we only let him work so many days a week. When it's not needed to be on the farm, then he works 7 days a week, or 6 days a week rather. Nobody works 7. You can't ask anybody to work 7. It's a felony. They can volunteer, and when he needs cash, he's raising a family. If he needs cash, he gets an advance on his pay. Well, there's no way he can pay it back, because if he got behind working 6 days a week, there's no extra money coming in to pay off a loan. So what he does is he volunteers to work on Sunday. He can work by himself, or he can bring somebody with him, and we'll just pay them too. But he'll work off a loan by working on the 7th day. My wife's happy with it, and he's happy with it, so I don't have any opinion on it. It's just what they do. Different culture. This is Gloria, the older of the brothers that look all alike. This is the foreman over here, Boyette. He's got a bakery in his house. Big bakery oven and all the stuff that goes with it. It was an operating bakery that my wife bought, and he was working as an assistant baker at that bakery. So he's also a brother of Nane and who else we got from that? Benji boy, the welder. That's one of his brothers. And those three brothers are full-time employees. So this is his brother here too. He was last name was Utiga, and his last name is Utiga. And then the rest of them, their last name is Delaminated. Their father died and their mother remarried. Another brother worked with us. He had 3 children. One of them didn't have a name. They never named him. We named him Tolino. Had to have a name, so we put a name on him. I think he's registered now, so he's got an actual legal name. But he was 3 years old and had no name. And he's got a sister. I should remember her. Queenie. That's her real name, Queenie. You got to watch that one. She's really smart, and she's really into everything. You can't turn your back on that girl. We had her for about a month one time when the father had to go back to the Masbate and do a bunch of stuff for his parents. And he just asked if she could stay overnight, and she stayed a month. He had to watch her all the time. And he has another son, Kenneth, Holy Terror. Wouldn't have that kid as a gift. I got a brand new motorcycle. He reached up with a handful of rock and scrubbed the paint off the tank. Not much of a child. That's Gloria and a couple of her kin. I can see the pictures coming up, and there are other things. I think that they're verifying that that's the oil to change to the mixer. They catch the dirty oil coming out, and when we can't get the WD-40 for the forms, we still use oil, but they tend to stick with oil. You know, the phenolic board doesn't stick the first 2 times you use it. This is our procession carriage disassembled and stuck into the bedroom. I'm looking at people's names here and see anybody that has. We have pictures from this guy, but I don't think it's anything special. Oh, yeah, let's look at something here. Okay, this is one of our slip forms, and you'll notice it's delaminated. A lot of places. But my wife figured out how it's happening, and why it's happening. This is taken down but not yet cleaned. That's how it comes off. There's a concrete cement, I don't know what you'd call it, but it wipes off with water. You'll notice it's all broke out around bolt holes here. Somewhere right in here there should be another bolt. I don't know why I can't see it. The reason we have that is because somehow we didn't get it across to them that you put a bolt in every hole with a spacer to control the wall thickness. Now, the foreman knows that. He's poured that whole house. The entire house was poured with spacers. But it just, these lighter forms, they decided lighter bolts. And so they didn't put any bolts in 3/4 of the holes, basically. They left out all the middle rows completely. And the one at the top of the wall, it didn't dawn on them that they're going to need those holes when they slip the forms up to put the rods through, to extend the forms for the next lift. So a lot of those were left out. And so consequently, when they pour the concrete, the holes in the forms, they didn't put any duct tape over them. So the concrete got in the holes that were 4 bolts. The bolt and spacer would have covered the hole, but they ended up full of concrete. So when they clean the forms, they got to knock that or they thought they had to knock the concrete out. And so what they do is they turn them down, put a piece of rebar, and knock the concrete out. Well, the concrete delaminates the forms. When you poke it out of there, it rips yeah, if you can. You see there's a bolt hole right there in the corner and one to the right. You see how the delamination starts right at those? And that's what damaged our forms. So we're going to reface them here pretty soon, I guess. And see, they would have punched the concrete out of this hole here. Same thing here. That was one right there, and you can see where they snagged it with the rebar coming out. Here's one that they haven't punched yet. It's still full of concrete. One down here is still full of concrete. But the forms itself would have gone a long time, but they've been screwed up from not. You can put duct tape or the aluminum real duct tape, either one of them over top of that hole before you put the WD-40 on, and it'll stick. Even though there's been WD-40 on it before, after you poured the concrete, you can stick something to it. It's not like the WD-40 will keep it from sticking. Oh, also, this is what poured concrete looks like when it comes out of the forms. Obviously, if you want an industrial look, you just leave it concrete, or you can fill the little holes up with a pointer trowel, a little small pointed nose trowel, and it'll leave a little blemish where you can tell it's a different color of concrete usually, because this is the walls are pretty rich in concrete, and if you're plugging them up with like mortar, it's a different amount of cement per sand, and there's no rock, so it comes out a little different color. Anyway, you can skim coat this. You could paint it if you didn't mind the holes. You can fill the holes and paint it. You can skim coat, fill the holes and skim coat the thing. At that point, it looks like a hollow block wall that's been rendered and polished and skim coated. But if you're looking for an inexpensive way to build a house in the Philippines, slip forms, you can see what they did there, and skim coat. Slip forms and skim coat. The first lift on the forms is 4 feet of wall. You get 3.5 feet for the next full lift, and the last lift, if you want some more, you pick which of these rows of holes that you on the forms you line up with the last hole was in that you poured, and you can have various heights. What we've used so far is 14.5 inches and one at 24 inches on another thing. This is the other excuse for our party. They're standing in the cistern. This is our freshwater storage tank for the property, and it rained on it, and some of the mud spread out. They're standing on a 1/4 inch of clay mud, but we'll scrape that up when it dries with a shovel and then sweep it. Oh, these are the little splotches you see on the wall. That's mortar stuffed into those spacer holes. And you'll notice there was no spacer holes. These two middle rows here, there's not a spacer pipe used. I didn't catch that until they'd already finished the cistern. They did the septic tank and the cistern before we noticed it. Who would have looked for them leaving the bolt holes out? Anyway, they're down here to a few more shovelfuls of dirt. The dirt was about this height up here, about 7-8 feet deep, and about 80% coverage on this slab, this big round top mound of dirt. And anytime we have extra people, or we actually just up and hire people to do it, we've been digging the dirt back out. That all washed in over the 2 years since we poured the floors for all these tanks one year, it's never got back to building the tanks. The septic tank, cistern, tilapia tank, shrimp tank. So shrimp tanks didn't get floors. They weren't on the project list. The dirty kitchen is above ground. So what's the camera doing? I have no idea. Camera just went dull. I don't know. Can't be battery. Well, that's the end of this video because the camera's only half darkness. I'll have to charge it, I guess. Okay, y'all have a nice day, and that was another video from the people over in Maragondon, Cavite.